everyone's going to go through different processes based upon the things that they've done, right? The life that you've lived prior, you're going to have different things happen based upon where your life has been. This is why I said earlier, right? You're 25. You've only done so much, right? I started my process 6 years later, and I probably have lived my life very differently than you have, right? I've toxified my system a lot. So I recently just went to the chiropractor because at 400 pounds, I had back problems. I had a lot of back problems, and now I'm way better, but I'm literally hyper-focused on just a few little things that I want to get to a better place. So there's a book that is called The Body Keeps Score, and it does not forget the things that you have done. You may have forgot, but 5 years old, 6 years old, all the ice cream, the chips, the cookies, it doesn't forget. So the body will store fat from all the food that we eat, right? So the fat in and of itself is designed to store hydration or water. It stores toxins and it stores nutrition. So one thing that you're going to experience is you're going to experience cravings. And cravings, the way I explain cravings is that cravings are the body's way of when you start fasting, you start to then release that nutrition in that fat cell. This is where this is coming from, right? So our fat means you can go a long time without food, but you can't just release the nutrition. You're also releasing the toxins, right? Which is, and you're releasing the water. So fasting helps hydrate you. And then it also helps to release the toxins. This is where you become the detox, because now these toxins are leaving the fat. They're going in through the bloodstream. They're being processed out by the lymphatic system in the blood, going through the kidneys, right? And then you start to then detox these things. So depending on the level of toxicity that you have in your body is going to determine how you experience that. So the prep is, Chris created the prep to then start this process and then ease people into it. Because prior to this, we just fasted, right? And then you would hit this wall where you're like, bruh, this is too difficult. So what the preparation process does, it just helps you to start that process of detox, so that way when you actually then go fasting, it's not so intense. So you're already kind of releasing these things. So that's kind of how that process works. Now, there's a couple things that you can do when you're detoxing that will help to then relieve that. So for example, if you're detoxing way too hard and you're like, I'm not gonna get through this, well then we just start adding a little bit of juice to your process, right? And that would be green juice, 8 to 16 ounces on, like if you feel like you're about to quit, add 8 to 16 ounces of little juice. It'll provide you with calories, sustenance, right? It'll decrease the detox symptoms. But I promise you, it won't stop the fasting. You're still going to be fasting.
So it's not breaking the fast.
Now, I mean, here's the thing. If you are water fat, I'm a fasting strategist. I will use all the different types of fast to then help someone get to their outcome. Right? So juice fasting, water fasting, dry fasting. Those are the three types of fast. We can use all three of them, right? You have fasting purists that say, well, water fasting is fasting. And if you have water, you're breaking. If you have anything else outside of water, you're breaking your fast. No, we're not breaking our fast. We're just moving to juice fasting for 20 minutes, right? I mean, your body can only process out 2 different types of energy at one time, fat, or it's going to process glucose, right, or glycogen in the liver. If you give it juice, it's going to process it immediately. It's not going to last in the system. So this is why I say it's just an emergency thing, because it's not like eating food. I'm telling you right now, if you try this, you're going to be like, well, that was great. I feel great. An hour later, you're going to be like, okay, man, I'm struggling again, right? This is how you know it's not actually it's not breaking your fast, because if it was, then you'd be fine for the rest of the day.
Okay.
So that's that, right? Second part to this is how it's, the question you asked me, the way that I registered in my brain was, tell them about the why. Right? So the why is the reason for you doing what you're doing. It is the overarching, the driving force to whatever it is that you're trying to do. So whenever I said your why, immediately there's something that popped into your head. So whatever that reason was, that's not good enough. I don't need to know what it was. I'm telling you it's not good enough. You need to find something that's deeper, right? losing weight and fasting, they're beneficial, right? Fasting is a tool for weight loss, but it's not going to get you really where you want to go. We're going to be eating way more than we're fasting in our life, right? So our diet is going to be the most important thing. But in the beginning, right, fasting it's like the rocket ship that's going to shoot you to wherever it is you want to get to. But the why or your reason for wanting to do that is the fuel for that, right? So obviously you asked me, well, did you lock yourself in a closet? Like, obviously you can't do that, right? But having a very clear, defined reason for what you want to do and how you plan on getting there is how you do that. There is no getting around this process. There's no easy way out of this. And if there was, we would have found it, right? There's pills, there's surgeries, there's all these things. Even the people that do all this stuff, they still struggle, right? Because at the end of the day, they weren't dealing with their core issues. Their core issues are us. Their core issues are in their past, right? And then finding out what those core issues are through this process will help you then create that deeper why. So having weight loss and better health, right, longevity, those are all great, right? But when you really start understanding and clarifying your why or your reason for doing this process, then you really will start to find true motivation, because that why is going to be somewhere in your childhood, probably between the ages of 0 to 10 years old, right? Your why is going to be like, well, you know what? When I was young, my dad used to not give me attention. I used to have what are called boredom fits, which was me really feeling lonely, right? And I found out through fasting that I suffered with massive loneliness, right? I suffered abandonment issues because I felt like no one loved me, no one cared for me. So this is why I started drinking. This is why I started eating the way that I ate, because they gave me comfort, they gave me care. So when you start looking at some of the things that are happening or that have happened in your past, and then you start looking at your foods that you eat now, you're gonna see where they align. So a lot of those foods that you eat now, you were probably eating them when you were a child, or they probably remind you of something that gave you comfort. So journaling, to give you a solution, journaling is probably the first thing that I tell people to do, which is start writing down how you feel. You literally get a journal, and this is your emotional journal. And in the beginning, start writing down how you feel, right? I'm going through this detox where I'm detoxing anger, I'm detoxing sadness, and I don't understand why, I don't understand what it is. Start writing them down. And you're going to go through this back and forth where maybe some days you're doing well, right? You said you did 7 days before, great, right? It may not start that way. You may do one day and you do well that one day, right? And then if you break it, okay, that's fine, right? Write down why you broke it. What were you feeling? What caused you to break that? What was the emotion behind it? These things are gonna help you then be able to pinpoint and track back to why you are doing this process, because it's much deeper than what we just think off the top of our head. So I know that was a long explanation, but I felt like that's what I do, right? So I felt like that was important, because if you don't have a clear, defined understanding of what it is that you really are doing this for, it's not going to be successful. So using health and all that stuff is good to get us started, but you'll get complacent after 30 pounds, right? You'll lose 40 pounds, you'll start looking good, feeling good, and then you'll want to go out more, right? You get on social media more, you're going to get complacent. Yeah. But to really get to where you want to go, you want to find something deep.
Okay. And just to clarify real quick, so, because I always heard like brushing your teeth, whatever chemicals, it's not breaking the fast.
No, so, you're good.
Okay.
I mean,
brush my teeth, okay.
Those are the most opportune things, but no, you're, okay. I mean, this is wellness, holistic wellness is a process.
Got you.
You can't jump in all that, you start going with baking soda and all,
Noted.
Yeah. So we
don't want to overburden you all.
Yeah. Noted. Okay.
I know we watched a video a long time ago where they said you couldn't shower because
they would dry fasting.
Okay.
When I would dry fasting that time.
Even then, I suggest to shower. Even when dry fasting.
I mean, even if you don't even have to, you could just do a bird bath. Y'all know, you rag and just, clean yourself up a little bit. But I mean, that's legit, because when I was fasting, I can't remember. I wasn't doing a dry fast, but I was doing some intense fasting. We're not going to talk about it today. But I was doing some intense fasting, and when I started taking showers, I could feel the chemicals from the water leaching into my skin because I was so sensitive at that time. So it's not nothing, to the point where I actually upgraded my whole house water system. Like, we filter the whole house water because that stuff that comes from the tap is trash. But one thing you had asked about was emotional detox, and I did want to make sure that we touched on that because it is part of the fasting process. The longer fast that you do, you typically will see more of that emotional detox. You'll see like that spiritual detox with the longer fast. So that's the difference between like shorter fast and longer fast. It's not to say that you won't get it with a shorter fast. It comes in spades with longer fasting. And that's something, if you know you got some emotional stuff that you want to deal with, or maybe you don't even know that it's there, but you like have a sense that it's there, you know, we can definitely approach that later on. We just want to get y'all started with some fasting now, kind of get you like used to it, and then we could do some longer fasting because it's like different tools. You use different tools for different purposes.
Noted.
Shell, did you have anything you want to add to that?
No.
All right. So we were kind of closing off talking about the food, and Steve had mentioned that, you know, the less convenient something is, probably the better it's for you. And I heard you mention using the microwave, which is crazy because, like, in my head, nobody uses microwave anymore. Like, everybody knows not to use the microwave.
Really?
Every time I hear someone say, "Yeah, I just put it in the microwave,"
I didn't know that.
Yeah, but that's just me living in my little bubble. You know what I'm saying?
Most people do use them.
Most people still do use them. Microwaves, they're actual, like, you don't think about it, but it's microwaves. So we were talking about frequency. I think off camera, we're talking about frequency and stuff. The human body, there's a resonance frequency that, you know, the cells and everything resonates with it. It's all part of like being healthy and moving towards homeostasis. Microwaves cut those wavelengths down, and they become damaging. So it would, you know, when you microwave your food, you're altering the molecular structure of the food, and it's essentially, once again, it's poisoning the food. So you could take something that's good and you put it in a microwave, and you essentially poison it. And it's poison now, even if it was apple, even if it was, you know, broccoli or whatever. And I think also we had talked off camera about the Carillion photography, where you can actually see the energetic composition of items, coins, apples, people, the plants, whatever. And what they did experiments where they would take a picture of an apple, you know, not in a microwave, just kind of like a fresh apple. Then they put the apple in the microwave, and then they take another picture, and you could see where it diminished or altered the energy of the apple. So just, you know, once again, this is a lot to absorb. Y'all don't got to change everything, but I just want to let you know, you know, finding an alternative to the microwave would be good. Toaster oven, or just prepping better so that you don't have to use the microwave.
Right.
But yeah, staying away from frozen vegetables helps.
Right.
Or just cooking them in a pot instead.
Yeah.
All right, so the last piece of the fasting cycle is the refeed, and then we're going to talk about supplements, and then, you know, I think that'll probably be everything.
Sure.
So the refeed is the process of allowing your body to basically get back used to eating. So now you've started fasting, and you know, depending on what you've been doing, you maybe you haven't eaten for the past 7 days or the past 3 days or whatever. Well, we did the prep so that we don't shock your body going into the fast. The refeed is designed so that you don't shock your body coming out of the fast, because you can shock your body either or. A lot of the damage people do to themselves is from the refeed. When you hear about people having issues with fasting, typically if you pay attention, or you can ask questions about the story, it's usually the refeed. You have to imagine that, you know, we talked about ghrelin production. We're playing with ghrelin production when we're fasting, when we're prepping, which means the body is not used to your eating habits anymore. You've changed it. Well, if the body is used to you eating at 12 noon and you change it, now you're not eating at all. Well, now the body doesn't know when you really want to eat. So you're gonna kind of like poke it a little bit, like, hey, a little juice, a little, you know, a little apple or something, something very easy for the body to deal with. Right. And that way it's like, oh, okay, I'm woke up again, right? Also, when you fast, the stomach starts to shrink because the body is super efficient. So any organs or systems that aren't being utilized, they go dormant. It's interesting because, like, people will say that I think they call them prehistoric organs or something like that. Such a weird thing. Like you have parts that don't really do anything, right?
Take it out.
Well, we could take that out. If it's damaged or something, we could take it out. No big deal. Doesn't do anything anyway. No, the reality is we don't live a lifestyle that requires the use of that organ. So therefore we don't see it activate. But if you start eating grass, you might see your spleen wake up. Right? So the goal here is to understand how the body moves. Okay, stomach starts to go dormant. So we just want to, wake it up a little bit. So whenever you break your fast, we always break it with, like, if it's a water fast, we're going to break it with fruit juice and or juicy fruit. Okay? And that's going to be super easy for your body to digest. And then after that, we're going to take you through a process, depending, once again, on what we end up deciding as far as the fasting goes. We're going to take you through a process of easing you into more dense foods. So we're going to go from the least dense thing, which is like, pretty much liquid, to more dense foods, which may be steak, if that's what you guys want to go back to. So that's essentially like how the refeed's going to look. But I did want to give Shell an opportunity to talk about some of the supplements and some of the things that we have outside of just, eating and fasting, because this is what's going to, in my opinion, life is a game of inches. That's my saying. Like, I think life is a game of inches. And what separates the people that are good from the people that are great are just going the extra mile, doing that one little extra thing to make it a little bit easier. And we have found several things to consistently make people's journey a little bit more palatable. So.
Yeah, and I'll say that with anyone that's learning about fasting or interested in doing this, understand that supplements are not necessary. It is not required. But like Chris said, it just since we've been on this path, we've found things that have worked for us and for our community. And one of those things, I gave you the essential oil book. I learned about essential oils few years ago, and really they resonated with me. I brought one here, the lavender. So I recommend early on for anyone that you just want to get your feet wet with the essential oils, especially during this process. 3 oils: the lemon, the lavender, and the peppermint. They're powerhouses. They do a number of things, and you'll see when you go through the book, you'll see that they'll come up in a lot of places. So that's what I'm going to suggest for you. We talked early some of the questions that we asked about, and you gave us some insight: sleeping or the insomnia, or even just being tired. Now, lavender assists with sleeping, but it can also help if you're just exhausted throughout the day, so you can rest well and you're not as tired during the day while your body is healing. So I'm going to do a very quick version of my essential oil class, just so people understand, because they are potent. The brand that we use is pure. It's potent oils. doTERRA specifically, when I talk about oils, it's always this brand. 3 ways to use your oils aromatically. So just directly opening it up, you can smell it. I love lavender. It's my favorite. You can smell it, put it in your hands, take deep breaths. You can put it in a diffuser, which is great. You can have it around in your living area, bathroom, wherever you want it, office if you're at the desk. And with these oils, you can put them on topically. I always suggest using a carrier oil, especially if you're using with children, which is safe on. But for adults as well, a carrier oil is anything like castor oil or fractionated coconut oil, olive oil, those thin, slick like oils. It helps to keep your oils longer, but also to spread. And then with these specifically, and there are other brands, but this one you can actually ingest. You can put them in capsules, you can drop them under your tongue, and it's just easier to get through the blood. Depending on what you're trying to do, I typically say use it all 3 ways. So like, let's say we were dealing with insomnia.
Yeah.
You can put it in a capsule, a drop or 2. Use it throughout the day. It helps to get it's not going to make you just fall asleep immediately if you're up moving around. But if you use it throughout the day, you have it in a diffuser, you just have it to smell. And then at bedtime under your feet. And that will help ease you into a peaceful night's rest. I've had so many people come back and say, I've not had a good night's rest in years. Years. one night after using the lavender, they see a difference. So I'm going to suggest the lavender. Peppermint is another one. It'll help with headaches and body aches and pains and energy, rubbing it over your adrenal glands that sit right above your kidneys. Definitely want to use a carrier oil peppermint because it's called a hot oil. It's spicy, it burns.
Okay.
Like Bengay or something.
Something like that. Yeah. So you want to use, and you don't need a dime size amount of carrier oil with your essential oil. You don't want to run through any of your products too fast. It's just not necessary. But using these regularly, massaging them into the body, it's also good for indigestion or nausea and some of these other things that may happen during the detox process. So having that peppermint on hand is phenomenal. And then finally the lemon, which is detoxifying. I usually have lemon water with me, is what I'm drinking. It helps with the digestive system.
Right.
It helps with inflammation. You can rub it on areas of inflammation. It's also great for balancing the mood. So if you start getting that hangry feeling, you can put a little lemon in your hand or inhale it directly from the bottle and just breathe with intention and just calming
I need
yourself.
to get her some today then.
But yeah, all about the lavender. But the lavender helps with that too, with the mood. When you read through your book, you'll see. But these oils have been just for my life and my babies, my family. Like I have them everywhere. This is just, we have them on hand. We use them all the time.
And you say we can put it on your tongue?
You can put it under your tongue. Just one drop under the tongue is typically what I suggest if you're going to take it that way, because they are potent. You'll see how
So
potent
don't take
they
it like
are.
a shot in there.
No. You don't want to do that.
Jeez, please don't.
But one thing, when it comes to a lot of men that I assist, and when I did this with my dad, I was like, okay, daddy, you only need one drop. Hey, Shello, this is not that much. I think I'm going to need a little bit more. Like, listen. You don't need much. Because he had pneumonia, and I gave him one called Breathe, and within 2 days, he told me his pneumonia was gone.
Oh wow.
Wow.
So it's powerful. And that peppermint is a prime oil that's in Breathe.
Wow.
So rubbing it over your chest, your neck, the nasal area. You never want to get it in your eyes, in your ears, or in your nose. But if you have issues here, you just want to rub it over the area of where it is. It'll definitely penetrate. And the beauty of the oils is we've been talking about cellular hydration and cleaning out the cells, and they can penetrate the cells, so they can get in there and help clean these things out, flush them out. So it aids with the detox process as well.
Okay.
So that's the beauty of the essential oils. Another product that we've learned more about is the root brands. Another one that has changed my life. I've had a number of issues I've shared on our platform. I was constantly having yeast infections. They would go away, come back, go away, come back. The one thing that I used consistently was the Restore. And what I learned about it is the benefit of what it does in the gut. So that's how it benefited me, but others it helps with, and it's helped me with my digestive system in general, just making sure I have more frequent bowel movements. And the gut health is very key to overall health in general. And it helps with, decreasing that brain fog, just a lot of different things that come along with it. So the Restore is one that is very important and powerful, and you can use it topically as well. It helps to, clear the skin and things like that. But on this journey, I would definitely recommend taking at least one sachet a day and splitting it in half, like half in the morning, half at night, or depending on how much you purchase. I take 2 a day, but they are not inexpensive, but they are high quality. So, you pay for what you get what you pay for.
Right.
So along with Root, they also have Clean Slate, which is the top recommended product that we would recommend. If anyone was like, okay, if I only get one of these from Root, which one would it be? Clean Slate would be the one. This is the one that you can drop under your tongue, on your tongue. You can put it in water. But it helps to detoxify the body. It helps to strip heavy metals. And I think we talked briefly about organic and inorganic things that we consume. Right. It's difficult to use different products that are designed to take out inorganic material, because those things they're just kind of stuck in there. And the way that Clean Slate has been designed, it's on a smaller level, so each time you take it, it's pulling out a little at a time. Some people have extreme detox symptoms to it. Rashes is one that's common. I think the tops of my hand would kind of break out a little bit and itch, and I realized that it started happening after I took the clean slate. It didn't last long. Others have asked, they get rashes on their arms, or I think I had one that was kind of like under my arm. Common detox symptoms, so just look out for that. And we'll give you more instructions on how to use it as well. But clean slate is definitely one that I would recommend. The Relive greens, I know Steven loves those Relive greens.
But them that zero in though, man.
I'm gonna get to the zero in, but yeah, the Relive greens are great as well, packed with nutrients. We talk about being malnourished and not have, we eat, but we're not eating foods that are going to really penetrate our cells and our tissues and do the things we need them to do. But those Relive greens, with everything that it has in there, it helps to get through the body and give you what you need. And it also helps with the fasting process from our community. People are saying, since I've used the products that I mentioned already, previous fasts were much worse as far as the detox symptoms than the current one they were on using these products. And of course the zero in.
Well, the one thing too about the Relive greens is they have a probiotic and a prebiotic, and it's a fiber supplement, so it's going to help with the
get those bowels moving.
Like, you got to move your bowels. You know what I'm saying? And one of the things we see a lot with fasting, people's bowels slow because our bowels are so trash. Like, people just don't know. That people
trash, literally.
I have a bowel movement every day, but then you start fasting and your bowel movements stop. Why? Because the only reason you was having a bowel movement every day is because you were just eating so much. You were literally forcing it out of yourself. So you see how slow your bowels are. So it's a great fiber supplement, but in order to nourish the microbiome in the gut, the ones that you want, because now we're going to be doing a lifestyle change. We're not going to be eating Dorito chips and Snickers bars and pizza anymore. We're going to be eating, more avocado, more bell pepper. So you got to nourish the gut bacteria that can break that stuff down so you can get the nutrition out of it. And this supplement will go in and just start nourishing, just massaging those boys awake, because they go dormant after a while.
Wow.
It's important to get those out, and that's a very good point. And then we have the zero in. Now this is something that when I say, people are like, what was in that pill? Because it gets it popping, especially with the work that we all do. But on your journey, it'll help with mental clarity. It'll help with melatonin production, which is interesting because it helps give you energy, but it also helps you sleep and rest well. When you take it, that mental focus and that, because when I'm around them and they're on it, I'm like, I know y'all took a zero.
I took one today.
You didn't?
No.
I know you didn't.
Oh, okay.
I know you didn't. You didn't either, did you?
No, I was going to.
That's what I'm saying.
It's a difference. I mean, I know
It's
this
a
kind of.
difference.
Yeah, it makes a difference.
I said, what's the difference? I know
Stephen, tell about your experience with zero.
I'm gonna say this. I'm already, number one, I'm already talkative. But you become, okay, you ever taken Adderall? Ever? Okay.
No.
All right. What zero in does is it helps to repair and restore the gut-brain connection. Right. So you have your gut and your brain, which are essentially both the same thing. Our body actually starts in the gut. It forms before the brain. So this is why it's like your first brain. So anyway, it starts to then repair and reconnect that. So what that does is it makes you sharper, like instantly. And this is the same thing that like Adderall will do. It helps you to focus and to kind of drown out those other things. What it does not do, it doesn't give you that fake energy. So like if you are just like, oh, I just need a coffee, I need a Red Bull, I'm just tired. It's not gonna make you like, all right, I'm ready to go. You know what I'm saying? Like it's not gonna do that. What it also does, it helps to stimulate the glands that produce serotonin and dopamine. So a lot of times, like I'll go skating or something, I'll take a zero in before I go skating, and it helps me have more fun, right? Just in general, but it really focuses, just like Restore does, it really focuses on the gut as well as the endocrine system, which helps to then these helps our glands to then work more efficient. So you're going to feel more sharp, more clear. Brain fog starts to go away. I know it is kind of a day-by-day thing. Like, it doesn't really build up in the system. But on those days where you're like, okay, I know I got something really big today, let me go ahead and take a 0 in, right? It's there. And of course, like when I first started, Chris, probably the same thing for you, I took them every day. And then as I just continued along my journey, then I don't really take, I got packs of them just at the crib, right? Because I don't take them every day. But when there's a day that I'm like, I want to be super productive, I want to be hyper focused, at this point, I take half of one. And
I want to actually say something, because you said that it doesn't build up in your system. Well, it doesn't, right?
Okay.
It doesn't build up in your system, but what it does is it starts to repair, right? The systems, like Stephen mentioned, the connection between the gut and the brain. And so essentially it works itself out of that. You don't need it anymore.
I was saying like a pharmaceutical will build it.
Right. Okay, I just wanted to clarify. So, because people are going to be thinking, oh, that means I got to take it forever. No, it's the opposite. The products, and this is why we're affiliated with this company. They will work themselves out of your life if you continue using them, and then you start doing the right things as far as eating, drink your water. You'll be, because Steven started off taking like 4. I started off taking.
Right, I can't even believe that.
Right, I started off taking 2, and very quickly I was like, and I went down to 1, and then I went down to half. You know what I'm saying? So everybody's a little different, but like he said, if I just want a real quick boost or pick me up, I could hit 1 or whatever. But you really just start to maintain that.
Okay.
And just, unfortunately, I can't take it. I don't know if it's the caffeine or whatever I've tried.
It's the caffeine. And real quick, hold your thought. Because whenever people bring up the caffeine, I always want to clarify it's endogenous caffeine. So it comes from the cocoa leaf, not the cocoa bean. And the difference is when they were studying the natives and how they figured out that caffeine was this great stimulator, the natives were just chewing on the cocoa leaf and getting just a little bit of stimulus, right? And of course, we turned it into cocaine. we was like, nah, let's do the cocaine. So it is a much healthier version of caffeine.
Right.
It's just, I think Shah has a very high sensitivity to caffeine. Right. So no matter what kind of caffeine it is, but it doesn't give you that normal jittery, weird thing.
Right. Yeah, and I just, just in full transparency, and so people know, there's been very few people that have said, like I said, like it's too much. I've tried half, it was too much. But the majority of the community is like, what is that? Give me some more. Yeah, and I think the beauty, I think we all have said it, is like when you think about pharmaceutical drugs and things like that, the question I ask, like I have an aunt that has been on, I think, metformin for years, over decades. The question becomes like, when does it work? Like, when does it start working to the point where you're healed and you don't have to do this anymore? And that's the beauty of the products that we encourage. Is like, at some point, once you've gotten yourself to a point where you are cleansing the body, you're eating healthy, you're mentally where you want to be with balance, and you can do this as a maintenance, and it's not like I need to do this every day. Now, early on, we're going to say take 10 drops twice a day of the clean slate, and we're going to say take, if you can, 2 sachets of Restore and 1 0 in daily. But with time, with the work that you do, you won't have to do that anymore. It just becomes just maintenance.
Okay.
And then was it one more, the herbs?
Nah, we won't talk about that.
Okay.
Because we're working on our own herbs. So
Okay.
yeah, it's just.
Don't worry about that.
We could talk about the herbs on the back end after you guys kind of go through your process and everything.
Okay.
Sure.
Yeah.
Well, that's pretty much it then, as far as the products.
Yeah. Well, I'm excited.
Yeah, I'm excited too. Definitely is going to be a journey, and that's what I'm putting my mind on. It's going to be a journey. It's not going to be overnight, quick fix.
Yeah.
You know what I
I
mean?
can tell you you're wrong.
And I'm definitely going to be contacted. Like, hey man, you didn't tell me about that. But I know it's going to be a challenge. I'm not even going into this like it's going to be a breeze. I'm just going into it with more focus on just being disciplined and consistent. That's just my main thing right now. I'm not even thinking about too far in the future right now.
Yeah.
I just want to be consistent, and I just want to, and that's just my main focus for me during this process, is being consistent with just following the actionable steps. I want to be a good listener, and I want to be a good student, and I don't want to try to think like, oh, well, I got it, so let me start to alter. So my biggest thing is being consistent and being like very studious when it comes to the process. So that's just my main thing, because I know how I get. That's easy, man. Let me just do this for a little longer. So I'm just gonna. That's just my focus. What about you?
I agree with that. Just that consistency and that discipline for me, definitely, just sticking through with it. You
Like, did you zero in? I think you was zero in or something for that.
I hope you have a good reaction to it, because I think you're just gonna love it.
I think that would be good for both of you.
Oh, it's still good. Yes.
Yeah. Because I definitely have brain fog. Like, I can't remember things.
I definitely.
It's just like my mind is just not clear at all. Like it's at all. Yeah.
And that's a scary thing, especially as you get older. You know what I mean? Dementia is becoming a very common problem with our elders. I think you got the right mindset. You know what I mean? Take it one day at a time. Don't get too far ahead of yourself.
Yeah.
But we're gonna get your measurements, right? We're gonna get your measurements. We're gonna get your weight. And once a week, or I usually say at least once a week. It depends on how you guys interact with the numbers, because the numbers mess people up.
Right.
But you're going to be able to see progress. I mean, honestly, pretty much daily.
Yeah, you're not gonna
pretty much daily.
Yes, you're usually gonna see progress either on the scale or with the tape measure or your clothes. Scale's gonna lie to you all the time. It can't be the only tool that you use. So. Scale, tape measure, close. One of those three will tell you exactly what's happening, if not all at the same time.
And then your mind. As if you're journaling, we actually developed fasting journals. I was gonna bring you guys a journal, and I just.
Oh man! Now we have to go buy one.
But just journaling, and what you'll see is you'll see how your thoughts change, and this is one of the benefits of journaling and just being intentional about the journey. But every day you're gonna see something.
We are gonna go get an InBody. I don't know how frequently, but maybe either every week or every 2 weeks we're gonna get a new InBody, so where we can track our how much fat and all that good stuff. So that's where we are, because I know we kind of don't like the scale, because the scale, even for me at the time when I lost a lot of weight and I didn't see like a lot of progress, it's just a mental killer.
It will.
So I'd rather just go get the InBody.
That's awesome.
It's just a little bit more intricate and more detailed than just
it's better. That's better. Because it's going to track actual BMI, is going to track fat percentage. Like it's going to, so the reason that the tape measure is so important is because for people at home, the scale is going to lie to you. The tape measure is like all you got left, right? But but every day, if you had an InBody or you had something measuring everything, you're going to see the changes.
Right.
So that's even better.
Yeah. It is two of y'all, so maybe you can close your eyes and she can track your number.
Right.
That's actually not a bad idea.
So you can close your, it's two of y'all, so you stand on the scale, but you close your eyes and let her track it, and then you'll have, you'll be able to at least see the changes. Since y'all doing it together.
So do it like that and don't tell her, or
don't tell her, and you
like
you don't tell, you just have a page where it's just like you write down her numbers and she write down yours. Yeah,
we're gonna definitely get as much content, and we're gonna be transparent, because why not? I feel like this will be a good. It'll be a good learning lesson for people and a good insight to see us in this journey, because we don't get people this much of us. We're online, but we don't get this personal from like really nothing. So I think this will be, people will be very shocked to see this from us, and definitely for Sierra, she's a star, but definitely when they see her on this process, they'll definitely want to tune in and definitely want to,
I'm telling you right now, Sierra's gonna knock their socks off.
I know she is,
because I've seen it too many times. Like you're going
it's not gonna take much.
It's not gonna take much.
Yeah. And I use this word very lightly, and I don't like to use it often, but just to kind of like convey the message. Sierra has a cult-like following, you know what I mean? And they really are like in tune with her. So I know for a fact, once this journey gets popped off and they see the results, it's going to be something crazy.
Like, hold on a second.
Right,
How do
they
they snatch like that? It's
gonna
be.
It'll be a Dr. Miami or something.
Right.
But I'm glad to be documenting the journey, just because, you know, like I said, we do have a very dedicated audience, and I feel like I kind of owe them this transparency, you know, because I don't want to pretend like my life is perfect, and, you know, we're teaching them about like business, but it's like my own personal life is like in shambles, you know, with my health.
They need it too.
Yeah.
There's no question about it. They're coming to you because that's their focus. Business is their focus, but they need it.
Yeah.
90+% of people are dehydrated. They don't get enough fruits, right? I mean, obesity rate is climbing. It's like it's 50%, and and the overweight percentage is even higher than that. So I can say that with pure confidence. What you're going to give them outside of business, they need that too.
Yeah.
And it will help them in their business.
Right.
And that's the overarching theme, because it's like, we're going to be able to see y'all's explosion over the next couple of years as you change. And it's going to, like, no one can, this is what I love about anecdotal evidence. When I very first got into like health and wellness, it was all about, you know, peer review journals. That's the gold standard. I mean, people will be in my comment section like, "Where's your credentials? Has this been studied?"
I haven't heard any of that lately.
Oh, they shut up real quick because now we have
numbers.
Oh my God,
Oh, it's so phenomenal. I get, my heart just melts when I see what people say. I send him some that I know he didn't see, but I'm like, he needs to see this today. I mean, we've had people to have children that didn't think that they could have children, reverse diseases that they've had for almost all their lives, or at least their adult lives. So much impact, and it's beautiful. And I love the fact that we get to walk in, you know, our purpose, changing our lives first, and then assisting other people to do the same. It's just I was gonna say before we close out a couple things. I think I sent or I'm going to a measurement tracker, just so you can kind of write down measurements. Oh wait, it lost me. It came. Let me come back to it. Oh, MEPS checks. That's what I wanted to do. Talk about. So being consistent with how you're tracking. So you're tracking the physical, and we talked about writing down some goals, and then just checking in with yourselves regularly on how you feel mentally, emotionally, physically, and spiritually. Being able to do that consistently and seeing from like day one, starting today, at the end of the day, asking yourselves those questions, and then doing it on a regular basis. And as you check in, being able to see how those things change throughout the process. And also, you mentioned wanting to be consistent. Your primary focus is consistency. One thing that can help that is proper planning. So if you write out your menu, you know, as you dig deeper into, we've talked about the prep phase, write out what you're going to eat for the week. Plan how you're going to get the groceries, and it'll help you get back on track if anything ever happens. Like, well, let's just eat out today. We said this is what we're doing. This is what's on the menu today. So that's what, you know, that'll be the challenge. Exactly. Do what's less convenient. It is. But that helps, because actually right now we're doing a raw. All this month we're going to eat raw, and I have not put my food, you know, I hadn't written out my menu yet, so I'm just like at home kind of scraping. I'm like, okay, I got this in here, let me do this. But I need to do what I'm saying, because this is what I typically do anyway, if I know I'm going to get back on track doing things. Because everything that we're saying here, we know what we need to do, but we get busy too. We're entrepreneurs as well, and we find ourselves getting off. It's like, okay, reel it back in. So it's just
the raw month. Steve's doing his fasting, so he ain't gonna do the raw month with us. But we're
I did raw month last month.
He did the raw month last month.
I was doing. I'm always raw.
It's always something. But I say all that to say, you know, we all need it. We have the information, but we get caught up in the business and the running and the going, and you know. But finding your way back and having a plan and being anchored in something is how the consistency and the lifestyle is. That's how we live it. You know, so hopefully that helps as well.
I think it's all going to help, and once again, we thank you all for being here, for shedding a lot of light on us. So I know that we have a lot of things coming up in the future, but this is our first stop, and I feel like that we're going to absolutely crush it, because this time stepping this in real time because when we are posting these in real time, so this will hopefully be out today. Just depending on how fast I can get it edited.
Yeah.
So we're gonna try to do everything in real time.
Zero in.
Yeah,
Oh, you
yeah,
need.
exactly.
We should have brought you some.
And this is our accountability. We never done it like this, and we take pride in whatever we put out, especially social media. We accountable for. So this is not only to just get people excited, but this is for us and our accountability. So
yeah, because once it's out there, it's a lot harder to stop. Because
Absolutely.
I know when a few months ago when we were trying to kickstart our health journey, like, hey, we're gonna document it. So we did a bunch of videos, but we never posted it. So it's like, nobody knows about it. So we go out to eat.
Yeah, right.
They're not gonna. They're gonna know.
Yeah. So that's why we want to post. Document it and post it in real time so that people are seeing, like, we're actually going through this journey right now. And, I'm sure they'll help hold us accountable. Because if we post pictures at the steakhouse, we're like, I thought y'all were supposed to be.
Right.
Yeah. I love that accountability.
Hold them accountable.
Yes.
Hold them accountable.
Yeah. And they will.
Yes.
They will.
Oh, yeah, they will.
The internet's undefeated.
Yeah.
They will.
Even if it's your group, because my group, I did a fast in December, and they was like, nah, you're not getting out of this.
Yeah.
So once again, we thank you all.
Yes, thank you so much for your expertise. I learned a lot, and now I'm scared to eat meat, but I learned a lot.
I mean, partly part of the goal, but I mean, there's always an alternative. You know what I'm saying? We AHA, we're a healthy alternative, so there's always an alternative. There's always a healthy way to do things.
Yeah,
Yep.
absolutely.
And real quick, where can, if people have been living on the rock, where can they all get in touch with you all or kind of find out more about the group or even join the group?
Yeah. So our one of our primary platforms is YouTube, a healthy alternative on YouTube. You can also navigate to our website, which is ahealthyalternative.org. You can find us on Instagram at a.healthyalternative. a.healthy.alternative.
That's right.
And then you can also join our free membership that we have, which is kind of like, it's similar to like Facebook. Like it's just a, I don't know, I think we got like 5,000 people in there, and we host our challenges in there, but we actually are launching a giveaway on Root products.
That's
actually.
right.
So
y'all can get in on that.
Y'all can get in on it too. And we do all that. That's www.ahacommunities.com.
That's right.
So that's where you can find us. We're there. We're easy to get in touch with.
And we're going to put the links down below, so don't worry about
in
it.
the description. So in case you do want to start this journey as we're doing it, because I said we're doing it in real time, definitely tap in with them. Because obviously a wealth of knowledge and information. I'm just so grateful to be starting this when we are now, because I think it's very much needed. And I know, like Austin said, I just know we haven't even scraped the surface of our potential, which is scary but also amazing at the same time, and so I'm just really ready to just make this change.
Let's do it together.
Do it.
Yeah.
So I don't know what the title of this series is going to be, but something with in real life. So any ideas?
Yeah, we haven't titled it.
IRL in real life series. I don't know. Healthy journey. Chris, you good with names? You said,
bro, talk about putting somebody on the spot.
you know what I mean?
Golly.
Documented.
I ain't take my zero in today.
But no, but definitely thank you all for coming again. We will be definitely showing everybody updates with you all. So with that being said,
that's it for this one, and I guess we'll be back tomorrow.
Yep.
You're posting daily?
Daily.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, we're documenting daily.
Yeah, they're absolutely.
We're about to break out the juicer and everything.
Oh, you got a juicer?
Yeah.
Good.
Some collecting dust. Is collecting dust,
The Christmas
Hey.
gift.
Everybody got one of them.
A lot of
Everybody got one of them Christmas anniversary wedding
Right.
juicers.
and they usually are
They're
nice
usually
too.
nice.
Yeah. So let's do it. I'm ready.
All
We'll
right.
connect back.
Oh yeah.
This is Austin and Sierra, and we're with our family, a healthy alternative, and we'll see you later. We out.
Bye.